All right, let's get into some comments that we're going to react to. Obviously, you guys have been brilliant once again. Let's get into it.
Charlie Shank says he's under pressure before he's even agreed. That's how you know it's wrong. If it was another interim who has a Spurs connection, then we would think, okay, I well understand the reasons for hiring this person who is invested in the club and they did their best, whatever the outcome.
See, I disagree with that because I think whether you've got a Spurs connection or not, whether you've got Premier League experience or not, whether any manager coming in to this situation now is massively under pressure, no matter who they are.
Yeah.
You're telling me, like, what if Tim Sherwood comes in, he's not under massively under pressure? Of course he is.
Well, I guess he's under less pressure because if he fails, it's not like he's not going to get another job. He's not going to get another job anyway. Whereas De Zerbi, his professional career is not on the line, but it's, you know, he's being judged on it.
Yes, but I don't think it's being judged as harshly as maybe like a Thomas Frank, who put us in this situation from a managerial. Like, he's got 7 games.
Yeah. It's not his fault we went down.
It's not his fault we went down.
We all know that, but at the end of the day,
if we know that, then the people that are hiring him for his next job will know that as well.
Yeah, but it's still an asterisk there, isn't it?
Yeah, but I don't think that's going to be like taken into account for his next. Like, if we go down and let's say he leaves at the end of the season, I don't think teams are going to be looking at him being like, oh well, he took Spurs down, we're not going to take him.
It just depends. It depends how it happens. If he loses all 7 games and blows up and, you know, goes crazy in a press conference and has a Conte moment, then maybe it would. But
yeah, but I mean, he's done that every club, so it won't be the Spurs moment. He's
done that every club, but not while it's gone as badly as it could go.
Yeah,
here. So it's just a bit different. But no, I don't think it is wrong. I think it's the right thing to do in a situation where there aren't many right choices.
Yeah.
I don't think it's like the perfect option or this is guaranteed to work and wow, what an appointment. But it's more like looking at the scenario, looking at the options available to you. This is the best course of action, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Patrick McKenna says, I really rate De Zerbi as a tactician. I think that you definitely see an upswing when he comes in. Even without a large budget, he'll get you into the top half next season and you'll be playing some decent football. But once the honeymoon is over, unless he gets everything his way, he'll activate the doomsday device. Whatever happens, it won't be boring.
Yeah.
Do you think he can get us top half next season straight away?
Yeah, I think he can.
Yeah,
I think he can. I think any manager worth their salt should have got us top half this season.
Yeah, you're right about that. No, I think it's fair comments there from Patrick. Everyone's waiting for that honeymoon to finish. These honeymoons at times seem to be getting shorter and shorter. That's the truth. Connor Fogarty says, Ben and Sim are a funny pair. They did say they didn't want De Zerbi, yet now they say they want him. Also, I think it's important to add, they were also happy with the Tudor appointment. They made a video very similar to this video, and they couldn't understand why fans were unhappy with the Tudor appointment, and then look what happened. Again, they're all of a sudden happy with De Zerbi, and they can't understand why fans are unhappy. I'll tell you why they're unhappy. They're unhappy because this board have appointed one hothead who didn't work out, which is what all his fans predicted, and now they're about to appoint another hothead who is also going to take us down.
I think...
Was Tudor a hothead? Maybe a bit. I mean, I don't think he was that particularly hothead.
I think he looked like he was a hothead, but I don't think he actually was a hothead.
Yeah, I don't think he did anything really hot-headed.
No, he didn't.
Apart from maybe some rash decisions.
I think fans are actually growing to like Tudor by the end of it. Like, his football was terrible, and we got worse on the pitch with him. That was the reality. Look, I think the reason why we said Tudor was a good appointment is because we were looking at all the other options and they were just worse than him. It's not because we actually wanted Tudor to come to the club. That's what the reality was.
I'm pretty sure I said if we can get De Zerbi now, get De Zerbi.
Yeah, you did say that.
So I was of the opinion get Tudor if De Zerbi's impossible, which I assumed it was. But clearly it's not because money talks. But
yeah.
I'm pretty sure when Tudor got announced, we don't really know what to think, kind of opinion, as much like on the face of it. He's a firefighter. He's kind of done immediate jobs in some other clubs, but there's a lot of unknowns. So I wasn't delighted about it.
Yeah.
Well, you're trying to make sense of it, don't you?
On the De Zerbi one, like it's very true. Like I didn't want him in the middle of the season when it was all banded about and everything like that. But at this moment in time, in the situation that we're in, it's the best option available.
Yeah.
So I'm bang up for it now, for sure.
Exactly. And I think all the other options, for me, just smack of... well, I mean, this is smacks of desperation as well. But, I mean, hiring people like Redknapp and Hoddle and Houghton, I mean, is that really what people want? Is that people think that that's going to be a hiring with enough quality to keep us in the division? I just highly doubt it.
Yeah.
I think you need someone with real special ability, and I think Zerbi is that.
Yeah.
But obviously comes with a lot of other stuff. Kudo Chan says, the simple truth is there is no grey option available. You'll just have to make do as best you can with what's on offer. Now, would that be De Zerbi? Maybe, but he would likely need a handful of games to really implement his system, and quite frankly, Spurs have no time at all to work with. They need results immediately. The way Spurs seemingly just tried to throw money at him to beg him to take over, and now instead of take over now instead of in the summer, is not exactly what I would call a good negotiation position or a very convincing offer.
Yeah, look, that's all true. That is all true, but this is the situation that we're in. You know, any manager would need time to implement their ideas and to get the players on side and everything like that. But you're looking at the managers available. De Zerbi is the best bet. De Zerbi is the best manager. De Zerbi is the best tactician available, and he's got Premier League experience, and he's got good Premier League experience as well. He did a good job at Brighton. And of course, from the club's perspective, it's a terrible negotiation position to be in. But they've put us they've put themselves in that situation. So nobody should have any sympathy for them.
Yeah, there's no point sticking your head in the sand and thinking like, oh, we shouldn't be in that position. We are in that position, and it's their fault in this position. We can't deny it. We are in the worst negotiating position possible, and we have to move heaven and earth to get a deal like this done. That's the truth, and we shouldn't be in this position. And it doesn't sit right with me that we have to, club announce. Is that true? We have to be in this position, but we are. So we have to deal with it. Fan back to Spurs, Ange fan, said, let us be honest. This is not just about tactics anymore. It's about identity. De Zerbi is a top coach, no doubt, but he's also emotional and reactive. That might work at Brighton, but Tottenham Hotspur is a completely different pressure cooker. And here is the truth. The shadow of Pochettino is still there. Fans are not judging results. They are judging connection. If De Zerbi wins early, everyone is on board. If he does not, the touchline drama starts. This picture turns out very quickly. This feels like a high-risk decision at the wrong time. Tottenham Hotspur do not need another gamble. They need stability. Otherwise, we are having the same conversation again in 6 months.
See, I don't get this argument about a gamble and a high-risk appointment and all this kind of stuff, because every appointment is a high-risk appointment at this moment in time. You're telling me Sherwood's not a high-risk appointment? You're telling me Glenn Hoddle's not a high-risk appointment? You're telling me Harry Redknapp's not a high-risk appointment? They're all high-risk appointments.
Exactly.
In the situation that we're in.
And none of those are higher risk, I would argue, because they haven't managed. How is it higher? How is it less of a risk to hire a manager who's been in the Premier League, knows how to win games in the last couple of years, and can get, is very up to date tactically with the game and stuff, rather than a manager who managed 15 years ago, who might know the club then when we were playing at White Hart Lane, but does he know the current club? People always say, "Oh, we want someone who knows the club." What does Harry Redknapp know about the current club? What does Sherwood know about the club that is now? It's a different club to than they were back in 2000, wherever it was 13. Like, it's a very different beast.
Yeah.
So just because they managed the club then, all right, why don't we hire Keith Birkinshaw?
But
we
also
in the 80s, it's very different.
Yeah, but also, like, people have always said consistently over the last 5-6 years, however many years it's been, probably longer than that, saying, go get the best in class. That's literally what you've got right now. Like, the best available manager we've just got through the door.
Yeah, true.
So that's probably the least risk possible. And I'm not saying it's not a risk, because it is a risk.
Oh, it is.
Anything that we're in right now is a risk, but it's the least risk possible because we've got the highest caliber manager available.
Exactly. That's how I see it. And as much as There's all these different avenues you can go down. If you want the best quality, this is it. If you're just focused on that, yes, you can say no to the club. Short-term appointment, all these different things can just play on vibes, get the fans behind them, unity. There's all those different other things which for me are secondary to quality, and that's where I stand.
And like the whole thing of him being a hothead, yeah, fine, he's a hothead, but we've just got Thomas Frank,
He's the opposite of a hothead.
who's like literally the most passive guy that you could ever meet as a manager. And how did that turn out?
Exactly. So for me, quality trumps all of those. All those things are important, but quality is the most important.
Yeah,
I would say. Manic says the thing that's so wild to me is that this club will spend stupid money on literally anything but players.
that is the thing that just grinds me, man. Because like I mentioned earlier on the stream, it's just like if they would have panicked in January, we might not be in this mess, and we wouldn't have to have thrown the book at De Zerbi. But they didn't, and this is the situation that we're in right now, and they've had to do it.
Spurs E17 says, Sim, get real. Most managers come for the money, not for the love of the club. Maybe this shock will make the owners start spending proper money now they know the consequences.
They have to. Surely they have to now, knowing that 2 years in a row we finished 17th, and this year we've been closer to relegation than we ever have been before. Like, they've brought in a manager now that they know is a volatile figure, that they know will throw them under the bus at the earliest opportunity. They have to give him what he wants. They have to.
I don't think I've ever said managers are coming for the love of the club, but they're coming believing in a project to do something here, right? You sell them a project, you come here, we will build it around you. We see you as a central figure to how we want to play, how you manage the players, all this kind of stuff. And, you will get better players. And in a few years' time, we're going to be competing for big things as a project. You want to sell a manager, right? My point is, he's not coming. I don't think anyway. He's not coming because he sees a project here. He's coming because the figures are so eye-watering that even though he doesn't want to be here right now, he can't help but have his head turned because we're giving him a ridiculously good offer, and those aren't really the conditions you probably want someone to come to your club. You want them because they believe that coming to your club will be good for their career and you can build something together. That's what you want. But that's not the position we're in. And who's going to come here believing in a project? Let's be honest. And it's not like everyone went to Chelsea because they really believed in a project. They probably went there because the money was so good. And same with City, they made it work because there was actually a good project there, and they did have things going on. But it wasn't always just because it was about the project. And obviously, the money talked at the end of the day. So let's just hope money has spoken, but we can actually build a project on top of that as well. But my whole point is, it's not the best scenario to be negotiating for a manager like that.
It's far from the best scenario.
No, you want it to have some sort of you want to have some sort of cards to play, but we don't have any, and that's just our fault. ACJB8 says, I would be happier with Maddison and Kulu managing the team, in all seriousness.
So you'd be more happy with Championship football than giving us the best chance of staying in the Premier League then?
Madison and Decky, double act. Well, look, we can't even talk about that because we've got De Zerbi now, so there's no point.
How close is Madison actually to getting on the pitch?
I wouldn't be surprised. Maybe end of April time.
I think Madders would love playing under De Zerbi, man.
Yeah, for sure. I think you like it too. SXZC says, honestly, with the amount of times I've seen our players misplace passes during a game, I actually, for one, wouldn't mind having a manager who's harsh to these players during training, because it pisses me off every single time we can't string 3 forward passes on the pitch.
Mate, if De Zerbi was manager and we saw the traits that we've seen in this team all season, I think all these players will have black eyes by this stage of the season.
Yeah, literally, he's gonna tell everyone to call their agents. You call your agent, and you call your agent, and you call your agent. He's gonna be like Oprah. Blue Kyber Crystal says, isn't the issue that he most likely won't keep you up because he's the manager who needs time to implement his system and get his players on side?
But I think it's been proven that a lot of managers need time to implement their system. That's not something that is solely on Roberto De Zerbi. Obviously, everyone's pining back to when he was brought in at Brighton, and obviously he didn't hit the ground running, and it took him 4 or 5 games to get his first win. But just because that happened at Brighton doesn't mean that it's going to be the same at Tottenham.
Yeah, no.
It might be, but it doesn't mean it definitely will be.
I think Marseille got off to a quick start, but then again,
He had a pre-season at
Yeah,
Marseille.
exactly. He didn't come in mid-season. Yeah. Look, I think that is an issue. There's no beating around the bush.
But
there's a concern there, but it's either that or you go for a manager you don't think is very good, who hasn't managed in 15 years. That's a bigger issue for me than someone who potentially could take a few games for a system to bed in. On the flip side, maybe De Zerbi's a good enough manager to manage in this situation in the short term to get enough results to keep us up, and then he fully gets his system involved next season. Maybe that's a scenario people aren't considering, that he's good enough to adjust to the situation at hand in the short term, while next season thinking about the long term, how he wants to implement his system. Maybe he's a good enough manager to do that. But maybe you want to trust somebody who hasn't managed in 15 years.
But for all, and like for all these people who has that opinion, which is fair enough, tell me which manager that you had confidence in that could come in and hit the ground running straight away. Was there any manager? Because I don't think there is. There's not one manager available that can come in and hit the ground running right now.
Let's say Deitch. I think he took 3 or 4 games to win a game at Forest when he just got appointed. So even he's known as a guy who can come in and, bam, straight away, do these simple things, and you play this and we'll stay up. He might take a couple of games. No guarantee he just hits the ground running. There's no guarantee that anyone is just going to hit the ground running.
Yeah, and we're not sitting here saying it's a guarantee for De Zerbi to even keep us up. There's no guarantee whatsoever. No. There's still a high chance that we get relegated.
Absolutely.
But he's the best in class. Well, not the best in class, but the best available option right now.
Exactly. So, you can complain and say this is a bad choice and give all the reasons why this is a bad choice. And there's a lot of valid criticisms and valid reasons why this is not a good thing to do what we're doing. You can give it 10 of them and they're all valid, but it's still the best option, because the other alternatives, probably you can give 20 reasons why they're about a worse choice.
Yeah.
So it's the best option available, albeit it's not the perfect option.
Yeah. Yeah, and there's no perfect option right now. But anyway, that is your comments, people. Big up to each and every one of you for sending them in. We'll be reacting to more as the weeks, as the days progress.